Oh, happy February. Oh my gosh. Really? February. Like, how is that a thing right now? I have no idea. But let's get into it. My name is Megan Alton. I am a numerologist, an alchemical numerologist, which means I work with the energy of numbers to help you tap into transformation, transmutation, change, growth. It's a like looking at the number energy, identifying opportunities and learning how the challenges you might be facing are not a problem. They're actually providing doorways to opportunity. So that's what I'm going to be sharing about today. I'm going to be sharing about how the energy of February is unfolding, what sort of energy we might be able to expect, how we can work with the energy, and what opportunities are going to arise for us. There are a few challenges to be aware of as well. So I'm going to speak to that as well. But I really want you to know that, as with any energy reading or intuitive session, it's really important that you let your own intuition co create with this experience. Your intuition is critical. And one of the biggest foundations of my work is helping people strengthen and access that even deeper, allow that to become even more potent. It's incredibly powerful. So today, in the forecast I'm going to be doing, I want you to listen in and tune in to what comes up for you and start to see how we are co-creating this experience. Yes? If you're in, let me know, comment, say hi, let me know you're here. Tag a couple of friends who you think would appreciate and want to be on this with us. Okay, so let's get into it. February energy, guys, like this is the culmination of a lot of stuff. So if you've been feeling some like heaviness or some density or some like weighed down feeling, we are in a 9 energy month now. Okay. We are in a 9 energy month. 9 is like death energy. Okay. Not literal death, metaphorical death. Hello, everyone. Yay. I'm so happy you're joining me live. It's so great to see you here. This is not literal death, but there is a metaphorical death happening. And my favorite analogy for this 9 energy of the whole entire month of February is the idea of lobsters. Okay. So when a lobster grows, it's got like this like hard shell on the outside and this like soft squishy body on the inside. Okay. So when it grows and grows and grows until its shell begins to like pinch its soft body. Its shell begins to pinch its soft body, and it's uncomfortable and it's painful and it hurts until the point where it finally breaks through the hard shell and is like vulnerably exposed with this really soft body and no armor and no protection. Like, this is such a beautiful analogy of what we've been dealing with right now. So in this analogy, the pinching of the soft body up against the hard shell, that was January. Okay. So I would love, as you're listening, take note. What are some of those things that like pinched my very existence, that were like uncomfortable, that were painful, that were difficult, that were challenging? They're not wrong, right? The lobster shell isn't wrong. The lobster's growth isn't wrong. There's just something that needs to shift. And so looking at some of those areas in your life where there is discomfort growing, it's not about grinning and bearing it. It's not about suffering through it. It's not about, I don't know any other analogy to put in there. It's not, you're not wrong. It's okay. It's okay to grow. And sometimes growth is uncomfortable. And so just recognizing, where has growth been uncomfortable? What are those situations that I maybe didn't even see as growth situations, but they just were uncomfortable? Okay. Write them down, take note, journal on them. Okay. Like, I really encourage you to reflect on them, because shifting into February now, it's time for that shell to open up, to fall away, and the new home to be built. Okay. It is the death card. It is the death and rebirth experience, right? So whether you want to look at it as that lobster shell analogy of the pinching and the discomfort from January gives way to a new opportunity in February, the new opportunity isn't going to be comfortable at first. It's going to be vulnerable. It might be a little scary. It might be a little bit like, I don't know how to shed the old because it's all I've known. I don't know how to like feel like myself with my shell off, right? It's not that you're not yourself. It's just that you got used to a certain scenario and now it's time to get used to a new scenario. We can also run with the butterfly caterpillar analogy as well. It's very similar of like you as this caterpillar go into this cocoon, right? And it's dark and it's mushy and I don't know what it feels like for the caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, but I'm guessing when every fiber of your being is being transformed into mush and then growing wings, it's probably a little awkward, right? So be a little awkward, be a little uncomfortable. The awkwardness and the discomfort are not wrong. And this is, I think, one of the biggest things I really want to take home is this idea that we often think change, growth, evolution should be the sunshine and rainbows experience, right? Like this, like we're told this story of like freedom on the beach and sunshine and everything's blissful. And I mean, maybe that's some people's experience, but I can't imagine it's constantly their experience. There's going to be windows of sunshine and rainbows, but there's also going to be windows of the discomfort. So, whatever window you happen to be in right now, it's okay. It's a cycle. It will be here for a moment and then it will shift. And as soon as we can get into the place of not making ourselves wrong for being in the cocoon right now, as soon as we can accept that and not make ourselves wrong for it, we actually create an opportunity for the butterfly to emerge. Okay. So, death, shifting, changing, evolution, discomfort, letting go of the past, closing out old karmic cycles. This message came up very, very strong as I was preparing. Closing out old karmic cycles looks like wearing shoes that are too small for you, that have been pinching you, that have been uncomfortable for you, and you just keep wearing them. It's like, no, it's time to take those off and like go shoe shopping. I don't know. I'm using a lot of mixed analogies and mixed metaphors today. So hopefully you guys are following along with me. But you really just take a look at like, oh, like my shoes are a little uncomfortable. Like, do I even like these shoes? Do they even still fit me? Do they need to be like taken to the shoe repair guy or do I just need new shoes? Right. And just like letting yourself evaluate. Evaluation is another key element in February is like take stock, evaluate, take a look at what's happening in your life and be like, what am I enjoying? What is pinchy and uncomfortable? And, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? And let myself ask for change. Let myself be open to change. And one of the feelings I've been getting from some of my client calls and conversations with clients lately is this feeling of like, it's like uncomfortable. So we contract and freeze. Do you guys know what I mean? It's almost like our bodies become rigid. And really, like, if you're about to go in a car accident or on a roller coaster and you're scared and your body becomes rigid, it's actually like more harmful than trying to like relax and surrender into the process, right? So like this contracted feeling that we're feeling, this feeling of like feeling frozen and tensing for like bracing for like the impact. It's like, what if there's no impact? Like, what if there's no impact? What if the pinchy feeling is the feeling and you get to work through it for a new experience, right? What if there's no impact? And so I really want to encourage you to like drop the contraction, breathe a little bit, move a little bit. Maybe it's go for a walk. Maybe it's do some breath work. Maybe it's some meditation or a bath, or I see Rochelle is on here with us. Maybe it's doing some drumming, right? Maybe it's doing some singing. Maybe it's getting an energy session, but like drop the contraction, soften a little bit, right? This 7 energy year that we're in is going to want us to shift, grow, change, evolve, take a step, try something. It's going to want us to fuck it up a little bit and keep trying anyways. It doesn't expect us to be perfect. We don't need to be perfect. In fact, the more comfortable you can get with being your true, natural, imperfectly messy, gorgeous, beautiful self, the better, right? the more you can allow that authenticity to shine through and that integrity with your own energy to shine through, the better, because it is that energetic sovereignty that's going to be key for moving forward. It's going to be that trust and alignment with like, here's who I am. This is what's right for me. I'm claiming this as my experience and I'm going to move forward with it. Yes, drumming for the magical thing of the nervous system. I love that so much. Okay. So, any thoughts, any comments on that so far? Or do you guys ready for me to kind of get into some of the details of this month? Numerologically speaking, this is kind of like the numerology New Year's Eve, right? It's kind of like December in numerology speak. So letting yourself take stock, assess, letting yourself clear out what doesn't serve you, letting yourself like, if you don't know what that even looks like, if you're like, I don't know what to let go of, just like walk around your house and be like, what do you not like anymore? Right? Look in your inbox. What do you wish you weren't subscribed to anymore? Unsubscribe to 3 people. Who in your social media feeds do you not resonate, enjoy, or doesn't bring you light? Unsubscribe to 3 of them, right? Unfollow, unfriend, whatever, block, whatever you need to do. Be ruthless. Be ruthless. Be a like fucking warrior, goddess with your energy and decide who gets access to you and who does not, right? So important right now. Along with that comes a very low tolerance for BS, right? Seeing through untruths, seeing through manipulation, seeing through unethical actions and unethical behaviors. This is also going to be very strong this month. So, and I want to give you permission. I want to give you permission that you don't need proof or evidence that something is off. The only thing you need is to feel in your heart that something is off. If something in your heart feels off, you can certainly choose to wait around for the physical evidence to arrive if you want to. Or I'm giving you a full-on permission slip right now to know that if I feel it's off, that's good enough for me. I don't need to wait around for the agreement from other people, the evidence to show itself, or some kind of proof to crop up. Because at some point that just becomes, in a sense, self-harm, right? Because I already knew. I felt it. Feeling it, sensing it, intuiting it is enough, right? Okay, low tolerance for BS. And March, just a little peek ahead, is a 1 energy. So 1 energy is often about fresh starts and new beginnings. But we kind of got a little early jump start on that. So I'm going to talk about that. Okay, details. Let's do this. Starting on the 4th of February, the question why? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I in this experience? Why am I in this work? Why am I in this relationship? Why am I in this house? Why am I here in this city? Why am I doing the things I'm doing? And I'm not saying that like you need to ask why and change everything. Maybe you do. But what I'm saying is asking the question why puts the power back into your own hands to recognize I'm not here by accident. I made a choice. And if I know why I made that choice, I now have the capacity, if I want to make a different or new choice or to shift things or to evolve things. And that might mean you make some shifts or it might not. I don't necessarily see that those shifts will be happening like that weekend on the 4th. Maybe they will with smaller things, but I think there's this opening of awareness available to you to really take some time to think about like, why do I do the things I do? Why do I have the life I have? And just ask those big questions as to why. On February the 6th, there is a strong intuition day, an incredibly strong intuition day, and a lot of karma unfolding. Okay. So oftentimes when karmic cycles are ready to reach a close, and okay, should I even just back up a little bit more and explain what a karmic cycle is? Karmic cycle is just like an indication of balance. So if there's been a pendulum swing in one direction for a long time, the pendulum needs to come to the other direction for a while, and then eventually it needs to find balance and harmony in the middle. right? And so we often go through these experiences in life, in through our ancestry, through our past life experiences, or even just like moment to moment in our relationships of like, wow, like I was way over here for a little while, and like, oh wow, now I'm finding myself like way over here. What is the harmonized balance for me? And so this is this idea of karmic cycles coming to completion. It's like if I felt like I've been on one side of the spectrum for a really long time, I have an opportunity to experience something that's going to be more optimal for me, that's going to let go of some of the drag or the heaviness or the weight that's been keeping me in that old spot. But here's the key. It's not passive. It doesn't happen to you. It happens because you choose it through you in co-creation. So when I say it's a strong intuition day, let yourself receive insight. Let yourself take in concepts, ideas, noticings, awareness. Have that conversation with your heart. Have that conversation with your inner guidance system and just be like, okay, universe, show me. Tell me what's next. How do I move through this? My desire is X, Y, and Z. How do I lean into that? Maybe that's not been my current reality, or maybe that's not been my past, but this is what I desire. How do I move into that? The universe isn't bossy. I've been on that for a while. The universe isn't going to tell you what to do, but you get to give the universe, your guidance system, your support team, the framework that you're working with and say, this is what I'm dealing with here. This is what I'd like. Please help me. Show me what's next. Give me a tool. Walk with me. Right? And that's where you can receive your support. So karmic insights landing on the 6th of February. The 5th of February, I'm just going to throw this in there because I'm so excited. It happens to be my birthday. It is birthday month for me. And I don't know if you guys have been around me for a while. I love birthdays. So much fun. It's so important to celebrate your birthday. It represents a new year and a new beginning for you. So I'm very excited that February is a new year and a new beginning for me. It's going to be a massive energy shift happening for me in my personal chart, as happens with all of us when we shift into our birthday. So if you happen to have a birthday coming up soon, I highly recommend getting a numerology reading done by one of the numerologists I've been training. You can reach out to me if you want to. I don't currently have openings for readings, but I likely will open the doors again soon for that. So if you're on my email list, you'll get an email about that when it happens. Yay, somebody else's birthday is on the 22nd. February birthdays are the best. Okay, so the next significant date to take into account would be February 12th. This is when shifting priorities is going to be highlighted. So what I mean by that is taking a look at what's important to me, what matters to me, what are my values, what do I care about? So whether you look at it as a priority or a value, something that's important to me, okay? And I'd love for you to reassess it a little bit, because I have a sense that there are some things that you might have been holding as top key core priorities and values that are maybe ready to be like swapped out for something a little bit different. Maybe they move down the line a little bit. And, you know, I've been told by different people in the past who teach about values that your values are the same all your life and they don't shift. And that might be true. But in my experience with values is they shift in order at the very least based on which is the one that's been compromised. So whichever is the one that's been compromised or where you've struggled to meet that value, all of a sudden it becomes your most important priority, right? Like if freedom is a priority and you're feeling very free, it goes down the list. If freedom is a priority and you're feeling very caged, all of a sudden nothing else in the world matters but freedom, right? Or for example, connection. If connection is a priority and you have a lot of beautiful connections around you, that's fine. It can kind of fall down the list a little bit. But if you are feeling like, oh my God, I really want to be around other souls who get me and who I feel deeply connected to, all of a sudden that is a top priority, right? So you're allowed to reevaluate, you're allowed to shift and adjust in that. Sometimes that will also affect your physical assets and physical resources, right? Because when your emotions and your energetics shift, sometimes your physical resources shift as well. And an example might be like prioritizing walking my children to school means my work hours might be different, right? Or prioritizing being able to go for a walk at the beach means my physical location might be different. I live by the beach now, so that's actually great. But if I ever wanted to change it up for some reason, that's something, right? So things will shift, absolutely. So that's going to be around the 12th of February, where you want to give yourself an opportunity to recognize some of those shifts. And then on the 13th of February, I think it's a really important day to treat yourself. So find something to honor you, what matters to you, your heart, your soul, whatever it is, and treat yourself. It can be like something little, like I'm going to take myself out for a little date, maybe like a solo dinner or a new book and a cup of coffee at a coffee shop that I enjoy. It can be a new outfit or a new, going to the spa or something along those lines, but just really take some time to treat yourself as precious, to love on yourself, to see yourself as this beautiful, sacred, divine human that you are, and honor that. Trust yourself just for the mere sake of pleasure and enjoyment. Treat yourself. And one of the fun things I like to do whenever I see this guidance come up is I like to imagine that I were to get to choose exactly how I would want a partner to treat me. And I just do that for myself, right? Exactly what I would want the most beautiful, perfect, luscious date to be, and just do it for myself and treat myself. Okay. So important on the 13th of the month. Okay. I also sort of feel like that moment of treating yourself is a little bit symbolic, because there's going to have been some major transformation unfolding in the weeks preceding that. Okay. As I talked about with the lobster and the butterfly and all the things. Okay. So breathing through it, moving gently and lovingly through it, acknowledging where you are, having awareness as to what you're shifting is critical. And I already kind of gave all the journal prompts and the discussion around that. But what I want you to know is that as we move towards the 19th of the month, there is going to be a significant timeline shift available to us. Now, what do I mean when I talk about timeline shifting? Okay. Timeline shifting simply means that there is going to be a fork in the road, or more correctly speaking, multiple forks in the road. In fact, there's likely infinite forks in the road. You have a choice on the 19th of the month. Do I stay on this track, or do I choose to jump into a different timeline, shift into a different timeline, evolve into a different timeline? I'm at a fork in the road. I now have choice and free will as to where I end up. Now, one of my favorite ways to do this, one of the ways you might want to play with this, is to literally close your eyes and imagine you're standing at a fork in the road. You can draw this out on your notebook even, okay? Draw out like a path, and then like it merges off into two places. And there's going to be a signpost at that fork. And the signpost, like think old school signposts, where it's like arrow this way, like to the mountains, to the lake, to the, beach, to the shop, to the museum, to the whatever, I don't know. And the signpost is going to say, you take this path, it's going to take you this route. You have this path, it's going to take you this route. And so I encourage you to draw this out on a piece of paper. What is my path? What are my forks in the road? And what is the signpost telling me is what's down that path? And really start to sink in to be like, this is a co-creation between me and the universe, me and spirit. What do I choose on my fork? And start to fill in those signposts with what you choose, with the path you are taking. Because we have this beautiful prelude, fresh start energy to March. March is starting a brand new manifestation cycle, but we kind of have this prelude energy coming up here on the 19th, where it's like, okay, put your orders in. What do you want? What are you looking to create? The timeline is available to you now, should you choose to order it and engage in it. And order it, I mean, that kind of sounds a little rude when you put it that way, but it is you commanding energy. You have the ability, you have the capacity to command energy. If you want to learn more about how to command energy, you can study different energy modalities. I would love to invite you into Alchemy of Numbers. We're open right now. The doors are open up until Friday. So you have a couple more days to decide if you want to join us, and that next round will be beginning very shortly. If you do choose to join us, you actually will get access to a free numerology reading with me, as well as 6 months of support for numerology development, energy development, and business support as well. But what I want you to really understand is that you have the capacity to command energy starting on the 19th of, well, all the time, all the time. But the 19th of the month is really important for that. Okay. There is a window of time where this is very available to you and you can play with that. On the 25th and the 26th of the month, we are still in this portal of newness, right? This new timeline shift. Okay. So going back to the analogy of like there's a fork in the road and you saw that signpost telling you all the things you wanted, go this way, and you started to walk this way. On the 25th or the 26th, you're partway down that way and you're starting to get some hints as to what that way contains. There is going to be ideas, wisdom, and information flowing to you, right? It's up to you to receive it. It's up to you to be open to it. It's up to you to interpret it. But the information is going to be flowing to you. This idea of soul wisdom is going to be very, very strong on the 25th and the 26th of the month. Soul wisdom coming through. So be open to receive that guidance of to what your timeline looks like and how to capitalize on that, how to make the most of that, how to leverage it to what you want. The timeline isn't just there for like nothing. It's there to help you create the life you want. It's here to help you have the experiences that your soul and your heart desire, right? So soul wisdom available 25th and 26th. And then we end off the month with this beautiful new start energy. Okay. We actually end February. We start and end February on a 1 energy day. This is very, very significant because it is a 9 energy month. This is all about cycles coming to completion and a new cycle beginning. So February is all about this. So if you have been feeling like I need some things to change, I need some things to shift, this is your portal. This is your portal. The energy is not passive though. So you get to choose to interact and play with that in such a way to recognize like 1s and 9s, guys, 1s and 9s. This is like come full circle moment. This is like I am walking through this journey and I am coming back home with answers as to how I want to change. This is like coming back. This is like returning from quest with the medicine, with the elixir. Okay? This is like the hero's journey returning with the elixir of like I did that. I walked that. I earned this. Now that I've earned this, what am I going to do with this? Okay, that's the one. Now that I've earned this, what am I going to do with this? Right? The whole idea of the hero's journey or the quest isn't about like suffering, struggling, or torturing ourselves. It's about growth. It's about learning the lessons. It's about developing our skill sets, understanding who we are, working with our energetic codes effectively. Right? And there's so many more codes that are opening to us right now. In this 7 energy year, there is so many more codes opening to us right now. If that's something you want to learn how to interpret, how to work with, how to access, I'd love to share that with you through the lens of numerology. Just send me a little note if you want to learn more. Like I said, the doors are currently open for Alchemy of Numbers, which is my 6-month in-depth numerology, advanced numerology certification training program where you'll learn so much. But let's chat if you want to know more about the details. And I teach it, as the name suggests, from this idea of alchemy, from this idea of our challenges, our portals to our gifts, to soul wisdom, to growth, to experiences. And we get to co-create with this energy, like the example with the timeline shift, in creating what we truly desire. And so when you're working in February, recognizing the cycles you've walked through, what's being left in the past and what you're inviting into the future is the key this month. Okay, I think that's mostly complete. If you have any questions whatsoever, post them in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to circle back and support you with this. I would also encourage you to share this out to your community. Share it in your feeds, share the link with your friends, tag your friends in it. I want this information to go out to as many people as possible because I want people to recognize the power they have to co-create with this energy, and that some of these shifts are happening now, and it's up to us to sort of seize them and work with them and play with them. And drop in the chat and let me know, what's your number one takeaway from today's call? What did you learn? What was the one thing that you needed to see, to feel, to hear, and to experience that you're taking away from today's call? I would love, love, love to hear it. And yeah, wishing you the most amazing February. And yeah, I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye, everyone.